installing H&R lowering springs and a set of Bilstein ultra performance struts and bushings and everything on the 91 Avant. All right, before we get started here, I wanted to take a before and after measurement. So we're looking about 26 3/8 in the front, and let's see, about 20, a little under 26 in the back. So we'll do an after at the end of the video as well. All right, here's what we are putting on today. These are H&R 29800 front and rear, just the standard lowering springs. And then we've got Bilstein. The rears are the heavy duty performance, and I think this is the rear number 24020-657. I believe they call those the B6 strut, and front is 34003-695, and that is a B8 cartridge they're calling it, and that is the ultra performance. So hopefully this all fits. So I'll show you what we got going here. So this is gonna be pretty straightforward, I hope. We just got this bottom, looks like about a 17mm bolt on either side there. And then just the spring, and I'm hoping it's just those 4 bolts, and the thing should come out. So let's get it out of here and take a look. All right, so I already realized that I'm gonna need this suspension to drop down, so I'm going to lower the jack down and put it on the jack stands. Just like that, and I'm not sure yet at this point if we're gonna need to have spring compressors or not. I would imagine so, but hopefully we'll get lucky and we won't need them. All right, so the bottom bolt here is a 19mm. I'm gonna try to get this off. Got lucky there, it came right off. All right, that bottom one came out easily, and the top looks like they're 13mm. So I've got my 3/8 drive 13 flex socket. Try to get this out of here. Got the 2 front sides that are the easiest out. And third, and I don't know if there's a 4th. Nope, there's not a 4th. Okay, that was easy. So here's the original. Well, these look aftermarket actually, and they're, looks like they are leaking, so it's a good thing we changed it anyway. You can tell what brand these are. Made in Germany, it says. It's a turbo, it says. All right, so the top of this. All right, so my camera turned off while I was disassembling this shock, but I did not need a spring compressor. I just undid the nut. This popped out, all good and everything. And once I got this torn apart, I had ordered new bellows and bump stops for the front of the car, and I couldn't find any for the rear, and I was hoping they were okay, and they ended up not being okay. So I'll show you what I have going here. Here's this plastic piece that sits on top of the shock, and this kind of clips into that, but this thing is just like disintegrated. It broke in half, and it's all rotted out inside. So I measured it, it's about 92mm, and what I ended up finding, I couldn't find, there's a part number on it, and it didn't come up with anything. Everything's been discontinued, so I got these Dorman. Here's the part number, 523258. They are almost identical. There's just no hole in it. And there's this bottom kind of groove that fits into there. So I'm going to kind of just try to machine that, and I'm going to drill this out. It was about a 15mm hole, so a little bigger than a ½ inch, and that just goes over the shock. So these were like 20 bucks a piece at O'Reilly. So I'm just going to machine those and try to make these work. So basically we're dealing in millimeters here just because that's what the part originally called for. So this is like, say, 50mm. And then if we go to the inside of this, we're talking 39mm. So I'm just gonna kind of check this as well. We're working on my trash can workbench here. So yeah, right about 39mm. So what I'm gonna do is take my kind of acorn ball end mill thing and just kind of buzz a groove around that, so that'll sit in there. And other thing on this too is we're looking at like 82mm, and we want the height to be the same. So just for fun, I'm going to put this, see if I can. So we're looking, they're almost identical, 82mm. So this is squished a little bit, but say 84. So yeah, I think this will work out perfect. And as you can tell, this material is just disintegrated, and this is a lot harder. Will get us back to where we need to go. All right, so like I said, we're just gonna slowly go around. This should eat it up pretty quick, so I'm just gonna try to ease into it by hand. All right, so basically that kind of rounded one didn't work, so I ended up putting this on, and that worked really good. I just buzzed a little notch all the way around, and that took it down to 39mm, just like I was looking for. So now I'm going to drill a probably 9/16 hole through the center of it. All right, so that actually worked really well. So I just put it on, stuck it in there, and now I'm gonna do this ½ inch hole through here, and I'm gonna put some better gloves on. And drilling with rubber gloves on is a bad idea, so leather's a little bit more forgiving. See how that goes over the shock. All right, so even with the 9/16 bit, it still was not big enough. So I ended up having to go 3/4, and the way that it kind of bends the rubber there, 3/4 worked fine. So I've got a hole in there, it's centered, and yep, I just got to drill this side and disassemble the other side and put everything in there. All right, we're reassembling the strut. So I've got this. So we first put the collar on down there on the bottom, the spring that drops right down on there. Then next is the upper spring bearing. Just make sure you get the land where it sits in the spring in there good enough. And then this bearing, which we may end up needing a spring compressor on this after all. Yep, we're going to need a spring compressor. All right, I was able to get the spring compressed just kind of by sitting on it and kind of pressing it down and just getting my one thread on there, and it bit. So here's the completed strut with the new bounce stop in there. And then I just wanted to, I didn't think these rear struts were blown, but yeah, it's called a 32-115F, and it says made in Germany, and it says turbo something on it. So these have been replaced at one point, but these things are completely blown. So, and it doesn't sound like there's a lot of fluid left in it, so yeah, it was a good thing that we changed these out. All right, we got everything back together. The upper strut bearings back in. The bottom bolt went in all good and everything, and yeah, looks good. So we're gonna do the left side now. All right, I put the wheel spacer back on, and I'm a firm believer in torquing wheel nuts, so I use these, I like these torque sticks. I know these are kind of mixed bag with people, but the blue one is 81 to 90 foot-pounds, which is for all Audi vehicles, all years. So just go in a star pattern, and this limits how much torque will actually go to the socket. Like that. All right, we'll do a quick shot of it lowering down and see what it looks like with some weight on it. It's actually sitting pretty level compared to what it was. We'll probably have to go drive it and then take a measurement.